Good afternoon, everybody. The sharing economy is something we decided was a topic on the agenda for our innovation process in the group. We believe that sharing economy will be there, will stay there, and we believe it's important for us to understand it especially from an insurance point of view, from a traditional point of view, from the insurance company we're handling at the moment. We believe it's important also because a big chunk of the population nowadays is operating on the sharing economy. And this part of the population is not usually, I'm talking at least about Italy in this moment, the typical customer of an insurance company. The insurance company don't know exactly how the millennials operate, how they want to operate, how they access what they want to buy, or actually the service that they want to access. So we put the sharing economy on the agenda. We wanted to face, first of all, a question, because we believe we're not ready to operate in the sharing economy. The culture we face in our group is a traditional 200 years of history of an insurance company. So starting to talk about sharing economy is something quite new, and the barriers are quite high. And this led to us to a choice on the first project and initiative we undertook. I'll show you a little bit later what I'm talking about. But I think this is very important because unless we create a culture of this spread across all levels in the company, in the group, or we won't be able to enter properly this market or to operate in this market. In this slide, and probably the professor will correct me on some points, but I just wanted to highlight on the left side, it's really roughly cut, the topics I'm saying here, but on the left side you see the typical process and characteristics of an insurance company, a traditional one. Well, the traditional economy and also for the insurance sector. On the right side, you see the typical characteristics of the sharing economy. And if you apply those items into those into our world, the differences are striking. Actually, for me, they're worrying. I mean, people, they share things they don't buy. They access through the e-commerce whenever they want the services. The UX experience is the experience they have to live, and it's quite different from our system. No intermediaries. Very low profit and margins in terms of commissions. So it's a completely different situation. The customer defines the rules. The customer can rank the providers. And this is something very new as well for the insurance sector. So if you apply these rules in a logic design, hopefully for the short term, into our world, there can be major differences and obstacles we have to face. And maybe we don't know exactly how to answer to these new challenges. I won't go into the detail of these names. It was just to highlight that maybe it's now the time, if not too late, that we have to start to learn about sharing economy. There are already quite a few players across the world that are entering the insurance sector in different ways. They are startuppers, usually founded by people coming from the sector, not only, but with people coming from the sector. They operate in a free environment, not regulated, as it was said before, so they got very free hands of movement. They operate on a global scale as well. They start with the so-called lean approach. So they start, learn, correct the mistakes. They fail, hopefully often and fast, but always forward. And this is something, again, something new for us. It's not typical for an insurance company to start a project, fail it, change it again in a flexible and quick way. So we started to look around the world also for this kind of experience. Not all of them are operating in an efficient way. There are some flaws in the models. But what's happening is that the speed of change in this area is amazing. Every 2 or 3 days, you can come out with some new startups which is built upon the mistakes of the others as well. So it's getting better and better. I'll tell you about a weak point of the actual offering for most of them which is something which can be interesting for the way forward as well. What we've been doing what I will discuss to you, I'll tell you today, is that I will discuss about 2 initiatives. The first one has been decided, so there is a green light. It will be implemented shortly, very shortly. This one is not a disruptive idea. Basically, we agreed to join a platform. It's an app made by, the name in this case is JoJo, but the situation is just carpooling. It's nothing difficult. So we decided to allow all the employees of the group to access this system. And once again, the idea here, the aim, was to start to create a culture amongst the employees, because we have 24-year-olds which are operating on Airbnb or BlaBlaCar, but not all of the employees are operating on sharing economy. So this was the first starting point. We wanted also to test the possibility to make from the sharing economy some business case as well. So not just giving access to the employees to their carpooling, but to try to create a business case. So what we devised in this situation was that basically we allow the user of this app, not only our employees, the user in Italy in this case, to receive as a badge. The badge is a typical item you receive once you get points, or you earn points using the app, in this case using the carpooling system. You get a service given by a Reale group for free for 6 months, for example, and this will give us the possibility to collect leads of people, potential customer, and from there on re-enter let's say, the traditional model of the insurance. So this one is, to be honest, a really easy model. It was just to give you an example of something new which we started to enter into our group. The last example, instead, I want to talk to you about is something which is more toward the social insurance. We, as most of you are a mutual company, so we wanted to find ways very nearby our chromosomes, our genetic system, to find ways to share the risk in different ways. So what we're exploring now, we didn't find the answer, so I'm not giving you the answer, unfortunately. But what we're exploring is a model. What model we can find, for example, for sharing the deductibles through funds, mutual funds plus insurance. It depends on the way you put it together. The typical startup I was mentioning before started actually from the sharing concept of deductibles from car accident. We are focusing now and we are exploring the deductibles from liability. Let's talk about doctors, for example, or professional anyway. So freelancer, for example. And we foresee that there might be an opportunity to create a solution for this in the market. So creating an opportunity to target new segments, but with new needs. And it might well be the case that this solution, it could be implemented totally externally from the group, or actually from the insurance company of the group, which is another important point to be taken into account once you decide how you execute the new idea. Because my experience, which is I'm doing innovation in the group. Actually, the group is doing innovation for not many months now, so it's we are almost 1 year old. But the experience is that there are huge risks of, I say, killing the baby too early if you incubate the idea internally. And this is another exploratory path that we'll have to go through. Coming back to the weak point, well, one of the weak points of this social insurance system, and especially most of the players I mentioned before, is that they cannot commit really the participant of the community to pay the claims once a claim happens. So we put together 4 people, I get the claim for a car accident, and ideally the other partner of the community will pay part of the deductible. Well, the problem is that they cannot constrain people to do that, and that's a weak point. Because according to this weak point, your community will have to be small. So I close, I'm finishing. Just an highlight, we foresee that the blockchain topic could help in this area, because it could help to design properly, in a constrained way, the process of payment as well. So just stay in time. Thank you for the
Thank you. We have a question, so you may stay.
Yeah, being innovation manager for the group, I would like, well, thank you. I'd like to know whether within your group there are any kind of projects ongoing on the sharing economy, whatever kind of project, because it could be nice to know and maybe share knowledge on this and efforts as well. So
yeah.
I think
yes,
that's the question.
Could you up the question? Have you started or plan to start projects directly related to the sharing economy? Yes, no, or not yet, but we are considering it. Okay, now we have the results. 60% have not started a project. What do you think about that, Matteo?
I would invite them to start, actually.
Yes, I would too. Please start. Thank you.
Glad to know.
Yes.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo.